Hey, do we see this? Do you see the scarf? I told you I was going to get it back. You were all worried. You guys were all like, "No, we don't even want to watch the channel anymore unless he gets the scarf back. We like the scarf more than we like Zuko." Well, too bad. It's here, and I'm still here. All right? I'm still here, and now the scarf's back under my control. You have to suck it up. All right? All right. Grab your coffees, my good people. We're going to talk about Outlaw Rogue once again. I'm going to do a single target raid build for Outlaw Rogue today. I do want to talk about Assassination Rogue coming up soon in terms of the Mythic Plus build for them, and Sub Rogue, which I haven't really talked about at all. I'm much, much better at Outlaw. I've spent a lot more time working on Outlaw, so it's one of those things where it's not that I don't feel comfortable doing Assassination or Sub, but I've just spent less time, particularly with Assassination. It's a much different playstyle. It's something that I'm just not as familiar with. So I will work on it, and we'll get to that. But for today, Outlaw Rogue, single target build. What are we looking at here? Let me move my camera into the middle so you guys don't yell at me anymore about not being able to see my talents. You can see the entire build right there. Okay. Is that centered correctly? People yell at me for all kinds of things. We're going to start in the class tree. I want to talk about defensives. I want to talk about healing, which there's a ton of. Mobility. We're going to cover the utility that rogues can bring, all that good stuff for a raid. Remember, this is for the raid environment, for single target raid fight bosses. How is a rogue going to survive? Number one, you have Feint. AoE damage reduced by 40%, 15-second cooldown. Ridiculous. You can also buff that with Elusiveness. Now, I know what you're saying, Zuko. You know, you're never going to take Elusiveness. You're going to take Cheat Death. Fair enough. Cheat Death is very good. I agree. You could take Cheat Death. You probably should take Cheat Death all the time. But Elusiveness has been buffed. It says now that Evasion reduces damage taken by 10%. So you can pop Evasion as a general DR now. And then Feint also gives you the 20% DR for everything else besides non-area of effect. So you have 40% area of effect DR and 20% everything DR, which is outrageously strong. So I wouldn't sleep on Elusiveness too much because you can also use Evasion as a defensive tool now. Also, you can make Restless Blades cool down Evasion and Feint with Float like a butterfly. So there might be a pivot from some people do Elusiveness, but Cheat Death is still probably the way to go. On top of that, your raid utility that you get to bring is Atrophic Poison. You reduce the boss's damage by 3%. For everybody in the raid, which is amazing. You can actually make it 3.6% if you take Master Poisoner. So just keep that in mind. If your raid really wants to min-max it, you can get a little bit more out of that. But 3% DR for the whole raid, incredibly strong. Okay? Very, very good. Now, we also have Crimson File buffs. You can reduce the energy cost and increase the healing. So Crimson File is there. It's baseline. That's your straight-up heal that you get to use. Let's keep moving down. More defensive buffs here. 3% less physical damage taken. Kind of whatever. Not bad, though. 4% versatility. Very, very good. You're going to be going down the middle of the tree probably anyway because you're going to be picking up Cheat Death. So 4% versatility is really good. Recuperator used to be a conduit in Shadowlands. Slice and Dice heals you for up to 1% of your max HP every 2 seconds. Very strong. You're going to have Slice and Dice up literally for minutes on end if you're doing kind of the build correctly. On top of that, you get Leeching Poison, which is insanely strong, 10% of all your damage. I'm doing roughly, like, just over 30k on these single target fights. That's 3k HPS from Leeching Poison. That's what that means, 3k HPS from this. Just because that's how much damage I'm doing. So really, really insane stuff. On top of that, you can also get Soothing Darkness if you want even more healing, and you're doing more of a stealth variant on the whole Outlaw Rogue package if you're going fully down like the ambush side here. So really, really crazy that you also get Soothing Darkness. Absolutely crazy amounts of healing for Outlaw Rogue. Like way too much healing, honestly. They won't even need to be healed by a healer, which is really, really cool. On top of that, your mobility is actually outrageous. You get 15% movement speed here, 15% movement speed over here, and you get 20% movement speed when you're in stealth. When I'm in stealth, I'm so fast. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. 50% movement speed in stealth, which is super, super cool. On top of that, you still get Shadow Step, which we love. I love Shadow Step, and I could also take Grappling Hook. I don't feel the need for it right now because I have 30% movement speed outside of stealth, 50% inside of stealth, and I still get Sprint. I haven't even used Sprint yet. and I get Shadow Step, I feel like there's more than enough mobility. If you really want Grappling Hook, go ahead and take it, but you don't need it. Okay? So that is the very last thing I want to mention is we get 10% more stamina on the spec side, which is crazy, and of course that Float Like a Butterfly buff as well. So really, really strong utility, strong mobility, strong healing, strong DR with Feint. Like, it's just really, really crazy. Of course, you still get Cloak of Shadows as well. If you want Magic Immunity for 5 seconds, that's so good in the raid environment. So you still get that as well. So I think rogues should basically be invincible. If you're dying as a rogue, it's probably your fault. You probably could have prevented it, honestly. So let's get into the build. I'm going to talk about the class tree for a second and what it gives to this build. This build is sort of a stock standard Outlaw rogue build with the main focus being on dispatch, pressing dispatch as much as possible to get the summarily, to cash in on summarily dispatch, and you're going to do that with Dreadblades because you can just go Sinister Strike dispatch over and over and over again and build up this buff. So that's kind of the main crux of the build. On top of that, though, to support our energy regeneration needs and our combo point generating needs, we have a bunch of talents over here. So Vigor, obviously, max 50 energy generation by 10%. Very, very good. Seal Fate helps us generate additional combo points whenever we crit, which is super, super good. Alacrity gives us 10% movement speed. I really like Mark for Death. I know lots of you are going to want deeper stratagem. Go ahead and take it. Fair enough. I love being able to start the fight with a guaranteed 5-point slice and dice, and I never have to press slice and dice ever again. I just start the fight. I target the guy. I press Mark for Death. I press slice and dice. I will never press it again because Roll the Bones has an option that gives you the chance to keep adding slice and dice to your bar, and you'll see it when I'm fighting the boss. It'll never go down. It'll always just go up. So I really like Mark for Death. Echoing Reprimand gives you combo points. You only have to end up spending, you know, like a 2-point or a 3-point or a 4-point finisher, and you'll get a 7-point finisher. It really works very, very well with Restless Blades and the whole Outlaw Rogue package, which, you know, you're trying to reduce all of your cooldowns and then press all of your cooldowns and go again. And Echoing Reprimand really helps you bridge that gap there. It's super good. Finally, we've got Thistle Tea. Thistle Tea is really the MVP, in my opinion, for helping you sustain damage in a long, long fight, helping you keep your energy regeneration up, or energy, just flat energy up, when you start to get kind of low. It's particularly helpful in the Dreadblades window when you're just pressing one generator and one finisher just back to back to back. You tend to suck up a lot of energy when doing that, and this just gives you the ability to do it indefinitely. You don't even care at all. So really like Thistle Tea. Okay, let's move to the spec side of the tree. I am going to move my camera back so that I don't forget to move it later. Again, the main talents that we're looking at here, things like Count the Odds. So when I want to be using Vanish as much as possible to double the chance that I'm going to get an extra Roll the Bones enhancement that I don't have. We do have Audacity, which makes us have a chance to make Ambush free. Let me just reload my UI really quickly because everything was bugging out last time I tested it. So we are going to be getting those free uses of Ambush outside of Stealth, which is really good. Ambush does double the damage of Sinister Strike. Basically double. Sinister Strike does 4,600. Ambush does 9,700. So it's double the damage there, which is really good. So we want to be pressing Ambush as much as we can. And then really it's just about Summarily Dispatched and things like Fan the Hammer. You're going to see it, but it's mostly about Dreadblades and Dispatch. That's what we're talking about. So let's get into it. Let's look at the build. I'll put Glacial back on just to sort of get that feel, the same kind of consistency I've been doing with other builds. And we have our poisons on. We're good to go. So we're going to start in Stealth. And we are going to start with a Mark for Death into a Slice and Dice into Roll the Bones, okay? So we go boom, boom. There we go. And we go. Whoop. There we go. And there we got Ambush. An Ambush proc there. You can see it was lit up. There we go. We got a Vanish. We're going to do that. We're going to do Mark for Death. Keep using it. Roll the Bones. We don't have to use our Thistle Tea yet, which is really great. There's an Ambush proc. I'm going to press it again. It does so much more damage. You want to oh, I got another one. Ambush again. There we go. Okay, we're running a little bit low on energy, so we'll pop one Thistle Tea. Okay. We'll do this, and then we're into Dreadblades again. And we've got Adrenaline Rush back. Of course, the entire build, You're always just trying to get adrenaline rush back, right? That's the point. I used my stealth there again. I was pressing about 3 buttons at the same time there, so just maybe slow the video down if you need to go back and look at it. Dreadblades is back. We're gonna go into it. We are hurting ourselves with Dreadblades, but remember, we have a ridiculous amount of leech. And remember what I said about Slice and Dice? Look how long my Slice and Dice duration is. It's up to 3 minutes now, 4 minutes now, because it's so incredibly strong. The amount of buffs that you get from your Roll the Bones, it just makes everything kind of work perfectly there. Okay, we're back to Adrenaline Rush. We're gonna keep going. I was kind of distracted there. Ambush. Echoing Reprimand. There we go. Dreadblades. Vanish to get the extra Roll the Bones. There we go. So it's pretty simple. We're getting a little low on energy now, so we're going to make sure we use 1 Thistle Tea there. Back to Adrenaline Rush. There we go. Ambush procced. Dreadblades is back. We're going to go. Vanish is back. We're going to do it. Ambush is back. We're back up to 40k. So you can see the damage does fluctuate a little bit, but generally speaking, it's mostly because the details is screwing up, guys. I'm really apologizing for that. It's hard to really tell what's going on, but I would wager that we're around 30 to 35k on this build. And what I really wanted to make sure I showcased was like how helpful Thistle Tea was in terms of just continuing to have maximum like energy uptime that you just never ever run out. So we will look at the breakdown here, but unfortunately it's split up into, look at how many times it's split it up. It's so stupid. Anyway, I would say that on average you're going to be hitting above 30k for sure. It's probably something like 35, 36k, up to 40k if you're getting really good procs. But this is the damage breakdown here. You're going to get something like Dispatch Between the Eyes. Pistol Shot will be higher. I'm really sorry that it's doing all that. I guess we could just do overall and see what it looks like. Yeah, so it's around 35k. Look at that. That's exactly what... Oh, it's got Blade Flurry damage in there. Damn. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do one more test here. I'm just going to reset the overall data. Okay. We're just going to reset all data. Screw it. Here we go. We're going to do it again, and you guys are going to get to see exactly what it's like. So here we go. We go Mark for Death. We already have a a thing rolling. I forgot about that. Dreadblades. Here we go. Oops, that was a mistake. There we go. Oh, we got no procs there. That was a yikes. There we go. Now, there's a lot of things happening with this build. You do have to be kind of paying attention. But you can see we're getting back to 30k there. There we go. Dreadblades. Dreadblades plus Adrenaline Rush is the dream. We're just pressing Sinister Strike into Dispatch there. We got our Vanish back up. We're going to press it. You always want to press it because Ambush does more damage than Sinister Strike does. So there you go. We're kind of back up to 30k. I just wanted to try and show that really quickly. I know that that took a little bit more time, but it's frustrating when details isn't working correctly and you can't really see what I'm trying to do. And we got Adrenaline Rush back again. I'm going to press it. There you go. So it's smooth, and what I really did want to highlight as well is that the gameplay, you know, feels good. And that's really important. Like if it feels good to play and it's doing a decent amount of damage, then that's what we're hoping for. That's like the dream, right? That's really the dream. So there you go. I'm going to stop it there. Damage overall, dispatch is going to be super, super, super high because we have the dispatch talent down here, summarily dispatched, of course. That's why it's doing so much extra damage. We had a couple of 43k crits, which is super cool. What do we have for between those? Yeah, 46k crits. So it is going to look something like this. It's very simple. It's all about dispatch. It's all about pressing dispatch basically as many times in a row as you possibly can. And there's a bunch of supporting talents that are here to make sure that we can press dispatch that often. That's what all these other talents for. Dreadblades especially is the big window that you kind of get there. And I would say you're going to average between 32, 35k, depending on the gear that you've got. And again, my gear is only 370 eye level. Keep that in mind, and depending on kind of your enchants and whatever else you got going on there, I think you can get much higher numbers. And the main thing about this build is that it feels very fluid to play. It feels like I never run out of energy. I never run out of combo points. I can just spend them, spend them, spend them, and never stop going, which is really, really cool. And I think like you're going to see when you start a raid boss fight, a bunch of specs are going to like spike right at the top when they blow their cooldowns, and then they're going to go down a little bit, and I think we're just going to get to like this plateau, and we're never going to leave it. We're going to get to like 35k DPS, and you'll just stay there, because that's how Outlaw Rogue works, right? You don't have like big cooldowns that you're waiting on. You're always cooling them down. So I think it's a really, really cool build. On top of that, the survivability for Outlaw Rogue is off the charts. It's so stupid, guys. 50% mobility. Movement speed, sorry. Shadow step if you want. Grappling hook if you really want it. Sprint is there. A 1 minute sprint is there. Cheat death is here. Feint for AoE stuff. You could invest even more if you wanted. Recuperator, Soothing Darkness, Crimson Vial is there. Atrophic Poison for the boss utility, and then Cloak for magic damage immunity. It's ridiculous. You should never ever die as an Outlaw Rogue. So that's the build, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about, are you going to be raiding in Dragonflight? Are you going to be taking Outlaw Rogue into a raid for Dragonflight? If you are, I suggest this build, and I hope you have fun with it. So thank you guys so much again for watching. I love you all. I'll see you in the next one.